Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can make your very own jetpack data pack in Minecraft. You'll have a craftable jetpack that you can fly around with. I'm not going to show making the resource pack or the custom crafting recipe. I'll have links in the description for videos from Timberforge, but today it's just going to be how to make the jetpack actually work. So, assuming that you have a custom crafting recipe already set up, like I do, you can make a custom item. In my case, it's an unbreakable flint and steel named Jetpack with custom NBT data. So to display it on the player, it needs to be on the player's head. That's the only armor slot that works, because we want to have our hands free to do other things. And since you can't stick a normal item like a flint and steel on your head, then you'll have to do it with a function. Now keep in mind, the reason I didn't just use a helmet and retexture it is it would be retextured in the GUI, but not on the actual player's body. You can't make custom textures for armor pieces, so you have to use other items like a flint and steel. So first I'll make a function so that it will execute on anyone that has a special flint and steel in their offhand and stick it on their head. So here's what you write. Execute as @a, so it's everyone, all players, with the NBT equals inventory and slot -106b. So -106b is your offhand slot. ID Minecraft Flint and Steel, tag custom model data, and then here's what I used. It could be any number, just make them a number. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just whatever. Run replace item, and this will replace whatever's in the inventory slot. Entity at self, armor.head, and then put in the name of the custom item with all the NBT data so that it sticks that same flint and steel in your head slot. And then you copy and paste the same execute thing and say run replace item entity at self weapon offhand air. So it'll take the item out of your offhand. Let's see how that works. I put this in my offhand, takes it out of my hand, and sticks it on my head. So now we have it on the head, so if a resource pack is loaded, it now looks like we have a jetpack on our back. But now we want to be able to actually fly. So now I'm going to put in there execute as @all with the NBT of on the head slot, which is 103B, flint and steel, and a score of sneaking. We only want the jetpack to lift you up in the air when you're sneaking. So run effect give at self levitation 1, 2, and true. So that means for 1 second, and its levitation, the power of the potion effect is 2. And then the last part is hide particles. So if you want to see the particles from the potion effect, you put false. And if you don't want to see them, put true. So you can mess around with those two last numbers. Just see what happens. In the start function that runs when you first load the pack, you're going to say scoreboard objectives add sneaking. So this, you can call this part whatever you want, and say Minecraft.custom Minecraft sneak time. So whenever you sneak, it's going to increase that scoreboard objective by 1. So now whenever you sneak, it's going to apply the levitation effect and you're going to start going up. But it's going to keep doing that forever. So you need to reset that scoreboard so it doesn't levitate you until you sneak again. So now I'll add scoreboard players reset @all scores equals sneaking equals 1 ... So it will reset the scoreboard for all players with a sneaking score of 1 or greater. Every time you sneak, the score is going to go up to 1, so it will reset. So it can run this every frame, but it won't run it when you're not sneaking. So as you can see now, you sneak, you start going up, you let go, and you fall down. So now we want some fire particles. Next I put in the same execute command and said run particle Minecraft flame, and in the coordinates, in these last numbers, the first number is how far the particles are going to be spread out on the x-axis. Second one is how far they're going to be spread out on the y-axis. And the third one is going to be z. So z and x should probably be the same. The second number is how much velocity they'll have. So if you made this like 50, they would shoot downwards really fast. And the last number is how many particles you're going to make at a time. So now let's try that. As you can see, there's some fire particles. And now I also want to add some ash particles, some Minecraft ash particles. So I'll do pretty much the same thing. Instead of flame, I'll just put ash. And I changed up the numbers a little bit. Now let's try that. As you can see, we have some fire particles and some black ash particles here and there. You can also do basically the same thing, but instead of doing a particle, say play sound, and Minecraft block.fire.ambient, and then master, because that last word, that word right there, is basically what category you're going to play it under. So if you play, as you know, in the settings, sound settings, you can turn down different categories like hostile mobs or ambient sounds. If you put it on master, it doesn't matter which ones you have turned down, it'll always play at the same volume. And then at self, and so now whenever you fly with your jetpack, it'll run the fire sound. Now it does play it extremely fast, so it sounds a little bit weird. You can play around with that, put different sound effects in there. There is a bug though. When you put the jetpack in your offhand, it puts it on your helmet slot. But that means if you have a helmet on, it's going to destroy that helmet. So to fix that, we're going to set up a scoreboard, which is basically like a variable. And so whenever you have a helmet on, the variable is going to be 0, and whenever you have no helmet, it's going to be 1. So in the start function, the function that runs when you first load the data pack, you're going to put scoreboard objectives add no helmet dummy. So the part no helmet, that's just the name of the basically variable, so you can have that as whatever you want. And in the last part, dummy is telling it that the scoreboard objective is just one that's going to be set manually, not an automatic one. Some of the automatic ones are like what I put earlier, Minecraft.custom, Minecraft.sneak time. So it automatically changes that by 1 when you sneak. That's an automatic scoreboard. This one is a dummy scoreboard, so it's manual. You have to tell it to update. Back in the loop file, at the beginning of it, you're going to put scoreboard player set at all nbt equals exclamation point, so that means not inventory slot 103b. So if you put just inventory slot 103b, it's going to return false if you don't even have that slot, and true if that slot exists. It only exists if something is there. So that first line, it executes as everyone who does not have that slot, as not inventory slot 103b, sets their no helmet value to 1. And scoreboard player set at all nbt equals inventory 103b, so everyone that does have that inventory slot, that means they have something in their head, on their head, it's going to set no helmet to 0. Now in the original function, you're going to add to the NBT, it says inventory. You're going to add a comma after the inventory and put scores equals no helmet equals 1 ... So if they have a score of 1 or greater, that means they have no helmet on, then it will run. If they have 0 as a score of no helmet, then it won't run. So that way, whenever you have something on your head, like a netherite helmet, it's not going to run the function to stick the jetpack on your head slot. That's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something, and if you did, make sure to leave a like. And please tell me any suggestions or questions in the comments below. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.